This project is an honest and in-depth perspective of and from former students at Milton Hershey School. We call ourselves Milts.
An organic, open discussion of life before, during, and after attending MHS.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Milt Talk Podcast. We are super excited to have
Zainabu Conteh.
Yes, tell him.
You know I had to say my name because somebody was about to butcher it.
I love it. And I might have. I was leaning on you. I was about to go. Wait,
Zain Conteh.
is it Broadway? Are you married?
Yeah, that's complicated.
That's complicated. All right, we're going to let it go. Let him go.
What name does it say? Oh,
it just says your first and last.
Okay,
yep. But then Broadway was on there, so I wasn't sure.
That's true. This is true. That's true.
And then also, like when you were at Milton Hershey School, you know, everybody's government name was on blast.
I am known by Conteh for most people. They just like Conteh. Okay. Forget the first name.
And so tell the people, what class were you in? What year did you graduate?
I was in the wonderful class of 1998.
All right. And when did you come to Milton Hershey School?
Ooh, August 14th, 1986. Meal bus straight off of it.
Wow.
And so tell me, you had siblings that went there because I know Marionette was, I think she was a freshman when we were seniors, maybe.
Yes, so she was the first. She came, I guess, she must have maybe been in like 5th grade. I think she was in junior division still, so maybe like 4th grade something. We like progressively got younger. She came in 2nd grade. Okay. I came in first. We're 5 years apart. Then I have a brother, Joannis, who graduated 4 years after me. So what's that, 2002? He came in kindergarten.
Wow.
Yeah, so mom was like, y'all all go.
She was like, this is working.
Yes, this is a go. It's gonna work.
Y'all are originally from North Jersey, is that
well, actually,
correct?
So my mom came when she came from Sierra Leone because she immigrated from West Africa. They settled in New York. So we had lived in Harlem, whatever area, but then she moved to the Bronx. So by the time we went to Milton Hershey, she had moved to the Bronx when I went.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's a lot of moving.
Yeah.
That's a lot of moving. So you a true Milk. Just the way you said, it's like, I can handle it.
Listen.
we deal with it. It's whatever.
Yeah.
It was nice. Your sister got in contact with us. I think she was just so proud of you. She wanted us to, talk to you and have you on. I love that. I think that's fantastic.
It is very, very sweet. A little humbling and embarrassing because I always get on her. It's like I'm the big, older, younger sister.
Personality
the
wise?
Younger sister. Yeah, I'm bigger than her, look older than her. But no, she always supports, and I appreciate that.
That's what's up. Well, can you tell us a little bit about, she gave us the breakdown of everything you did at Milton Hershey School, and it's unbelievable. Your accolades while you was at the school. Can you tell us, what it was like at the school? It looks like you were involved in damn near everything.
Yes. First of all, if you go there when you're 6, it's like, you better get involved. It was your choice whether or not to continue, right? So I did the whole like chorus, choir, band, marching band, all of that good stuff. But from a very young age, athletics was a big part of, my involvement there. So like, I don't know if you guys remember, they used to have this Henry Hershey National Track and Field competition thing. So I think as early as like 1st and 2nd grade, I was doing that and big time into running track. And then they started, I guess, middle school sports really probably when I was in junior division, but I didn't remember it much. Mm-hmm. But then I started playing basketball, field hockey, and then continued running track. And then instead of actually running, I became a jumper. And I was fortunate enough to place in states my junior year, both in the long jump. I placed 2nd, and then in the triple jump, I think like 5th or 8th was a districts I placed, conference. So it was like track and field was big at Milton Hershey, you remember. Yeah. And Galloway didn't play. But honestly, it was really like the feeder program. So like Mr. Alessi being the gym teacher, I think when I was in 2nd grade, so this was like in 87, was his first year. And he really honed a bunch of us. Like he would take us visiting and we'd go to the track and run like for fun. So athletics was a big part of it, and I enjoyed it because some of those girls who were my teammates are like lifelong friends that we still connect And I'm in Philly actually, well, not as much as she's here, but another lifer friend of mine, she came same year, 86.
Who's that?
Jackie Mahan. She had an older brother as well, Joe.
Joe was in my student home.
Joe's Warner's young boy. Yep.
Yes. So she's in Philadelphia. She's a lieutenant now.
Wow.
And so, her and I are very, very close still. And so she'll just drive on up, that make the hour and a half, 2-hour drive for lunch for us to do lunch and go to the mall and then go back home.
Well, it's family. That's what it's about.
Yes,
Like,
absolutely.
visiting at the Milt.
Yes, that's exactly comes up to take me out visiting.
Yeah.
And it's funny, those conversations, it's like you could sit and talk to a Milt for like 4 hours and it feel like 10 minutes.
Isn't it?
Yep.
And I don't know how often you guys go back for homecoming, but like every now and it used to be a little difficult for me because I was coaching at the school where I teach. So I remember one homecoming, I missed our first season game. Like I was coaching soccer and I was like, I got to still go to homecoming. I'm sorry, y'all. Like,
Call that assistant coach, take that.
Yes, it's like, sorry. Because it was real serious.
Right.
And so, yeah, those connections, but even like when time lapsed and maybe it's someone you haven't seen in 5, 10 years, whatever it might be, you just pick up and it's like, no time is ever passed.
Yeah.
Yeah, we often talk about how people misconstrue, when they hear Milton Hershey school. School is the thing that throws them off because their reference point is going to school and coming home. And that was life for us. We lived together, so we're family.
Yeah.
The ones that you're tight with.
For sure.
So at the Milt, I mean, besides all your accolades and all that, like, so after the Milt, did you go to college? Or
I did. I was fortunate enough that with all athletics and everything, my mom was like, listen, you got to figure out a way to go to college, pay for college. And that was when Milton Hershey was doing, I think, like $4,000 towards your, whatever, continued learning. And I had fortunately got recruited by a few schools. I knew I wanted to stay, not go to school in New York City because I felt like that was going to be way too many distractions, a whole lot of different, right? Because if you can imagine going from Hershey, then being like in the heart of the Bronx or just even New York City period, like, vacations and everything like that, that I thought for myself would be too distracting. So I wanted to choose a school that was close to home, New York, but far enough away from the city where it was like I had to, even though it's only 20 minutes, really be able to step outside. So I chose Fairleigh Dickinson. They ended up giving me an athletic scholarship and I ran track and played basketball there. It's a small Division I school. They're in the Northeast Conference, so you're never going to see them on TV. But I was fortunate enough to then be in a 5-year program. I got my bachelor's, got my master's in education, and then did my student teaching in the district that I work in, and I've been there since.
She just been killing it. Man. Oh, hell. That's good.
A little bit, like they groomed me to be great. Did you guys see that commercial that Milton Hershey put out lately? It's the most recent commercial that they have. You guys have got to watch it. I almost feel like somebody's got to share their screen and show it and look for it. And what'd you say?
I think I might have seen it.
What?
I don't know what the tagline is, but it's something about every child has or should be able to be great. And Marie's on here now. I don't know if she could hear it, but Marie, can you hear us?
I was just telling her I was trying to surprise you by having her come on.
I can. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Brady.
Girl, you choppy. What's your Wi-Fi going on?
Right.
I told you I always get on her, don't I? But in her yearbook, every single year, since I was like, it's 7, I would write, Zine is great. Like, that's what Milton Hershey did for me. It gave me the confidence to feel like I could, as cliche as it sounds, do absolutely anything possible. And I'm great. I'm going to be great. Like,
it seems like you walked that walk since the beginning. From what I could tell, since you was young until right now, you have that energy about you, the confidence, and you walk the walk, which is a beautiful thing. It sounds like you're giving back too.
Oh, yes. So that's another piece. So the idea of me getting into teaching wasn't something I'd always wanted to do. I think like in 3rd grade, I was like, I want to be a school psychologist or something like that. And so, Milton Hershey had those internships. You can do different things. And then when I got to college, my roommate was like, oh, I'm in this program. And I liked school enough. Like I did, aside from, of course, loving the residential life, all my extracurricular activities, I did love the classroom. Like I loved the teachers that were there. They really pushed me. I had good relationships with almost all of my teachers. I really had good experiences, even though I was on detentions half the time for nonsense. It's so funny because I'm like, I was in trouble a little bit. Like there were times I couldn't do stuff. And one time I got on detention because I plucked the girl's eyebrows. I mean, like, it was like ridiculous stuff at some point. But like, it's so in the back of my memory because I just feel such a goodness about the place.
Yep.
But so for me, it is absolutely paying it forward. The reason why I have the passion I do for education and coaching is because of the coaches and the teachers that I had at Milt Hershey.
Well, shout some of them out.
Oh, for sure. That's, of course, everybody knows the long-standing Leroy Galloway. Mr. Webster, rest in peace.
Right.
Mr. Alessi, my absolute number one. Like, that man, at almost any time I say his name, I start getting emotional.
Yes,
you know, I had Miss Henry, who was a math teacher, and I teach mathematics, who also was the field hockey coach. I mean, it was a lot of them. And even the ones where I transferred student homes, the Van Scoiks, who were house parents for a long time. It just was a lot of things that I learned from them. And while I was there, see, it's a lot different than most people. Like in hindsight, you're like, okay, those experiences shaped who I was, and I'm grateful now. At that time, I didn't appreciate it. No, I appreciated it. Like at 8, I was like, this is an amazing opportunity.
Right.
There she go.
Hi.
We got you now.
Hey,
All right. Hello. Hi all. How are you?
good. How you doing?
With my face, she's cute.
So y'all look
I
like
couldn't hear.
I said, look at that girl with my face. She's cute. Hey.
Oh, no. She's got my face. I got a 5-year head start, girl.
y'all look like twins.
Oh, that's so
Well, now that you're both on, here's a question for you. How did your mom learn about the Milt in the first place?
Well, my mom is active in the Sierra Leonean community. Sierra Leone being that tiny West African country between Liberia and Guinea. Word got around about the school. There was another family member that wanted to attend, but didn't quite pass the test.
Okay.
So my mom's recommendation was, well, you know, Marie's kind of smart, or her husband was actually president. Why doesn't she go and take that test? So I took the test and I passed it, and then I was able to come in. And then from there it was like, wow, this is a great opportunity. Let's get everyone. So Zain and I are 5 years apart. So it seemed like my mom just kept sending us there younger and younger each year. So I went in 8th grade. Zain got there in 1st. My brother got there in kindergarten. So
Great.
that's how that worked out.
And what's your brother up to now?
Oh, Joanna's.
Oh, that's
Isn't
big
he-
boss man doing big things.
What gone? What's he
He's,
up to?
Yes,
Well,
he
he's
is.
dibbling-
Yes, he really is. He's
Yeah,
so
he dibbles and
active.
dabbles in a lot of different things. You want to answer, Marie? Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, as far as just connecting the part culturally for Sierra Leone, he's taken on this vanguard of wanting to be the next generation of change makers there. So he's really launching a campaign to build infrastructure, build industry, and that's there in Sierra Leone. A lot of his business ventures are commercial real estate development and things like that. But he's very busy in the social media world, and he worked for Hulu at one point, and now he's pretty much doing his own thing and independently contracting and consulting with different businesses. So he's all over. But he's got his hand in the marketing world, and that's really his lane.
Okay.
Yeah, and e-commerce. So he has an e-commerce store where he, you can go buy goods, authentic African. He does a lot, even beyond Sierra Leone, within the continent, because he's looking to help people who want to do and create businesses propel and expand those businesses through his marketing expertise.
And is that
he really
mostly
helps them?
expats?
Yeah, helps them really get their businesses underway and get their products in front of people. So, and that's his give back too.
And is he focusing mostly on expats, or people from Africa as well?
A little bit of both. I know that one of the companies he's consulting, because he kind of switched lanes from the marketing sector, and he said he wanted to do something more with purpose, to more like working with venture capitalists, or not necessarily a nonprofit, because he always says you don't make any profit, and he still likes his lifestyle.
Big, all
yes,
under the bus.
yes, he's a little acidity fancy. So, yeah, so it's really not just for expats, mostly really for people who are on the continent, who've grown up there, who their businesses, like he always says it, because many people in Africa, they're entrepreneurs. Like, you almost have to be, because there's limited industry otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
So,
gotta create
yeah,
your own.
he's doing that.
That's amazing.
So here's a quick question. So you guys you're very young, but you got these African names. Now, here's a guy, Goy Mbima, and I came a little bit before you guys. I heard the year 87. So I graduated in 87, but I think I might have been one of very few, if I wasn't the only one, with a unusual name. How did you find how people treated you or even talked to you, especially when you first came with those type of names? Did they feel like, because I had one guy start like speaking to me like, he was like, hello, my name is Bob. And I was like,
hello.
Like there's a problem with your hearing, right? Right.
So, like, I mean, like they were
I can tell you, it was an experience. The most standout experience, I have to say, in junior division. My mom speaks a language called Creole, which is a form of patois. It's broken English, right? So if you listen closely, you can actually hear English words, but with an accent and with some of the French and Portuguese phrasing, you're not going to follow the full stream of thought, right? So it sounds like a real strange language. Zain thought it was clever to tell people she was speaking Spanish, and people actually believed that. Oh, she's just speaking Spanish. She's speaking Spanish. Like that was a more comfortable language. But you know, the house mother actually asked, "Say something in Creole. Can you say watermelon?" Ooh, yeah, she did. And of course, you know, at that age,
I can say whip ass. No. Right.
Yo.
It went right over my head. I didn't get until that question was. Yeah. So it was, and I have to admit, I heard a lot of the taunts. I heard a lot of the African booty scratcher, zebra back rider. It was ugly. It really was. Right. But I think I had the advantage of being there year after year after year. So I think I grew on them. Mm-hmm. After a while, I was their fun African booty scratcher. I wasn't so bad after all, I guess, you know, but I got it from people that looked like me. I got it from people that looked like me and people that didn't look like me. Right. And there was a tipping point in the mid to late 80s where it became very trendy to be Afrocentric, to start rocking the beads and medallion and the ankhs, and so that's when I became a curious source of information. Oh, tell me a little bit more. When it became fashionable.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, was your experience the same?
Yeah. No, see, for me, and Marionette, I mean, she went by Marie. So, like, what happens is we, like, Anglo-Saxonize our names, right, half the time, or make it more, you know, American friendly. So Zainabu was never anything I went by. And now, because I'm so proud of and connected to, and I've come on my own and become mature, like, I prefer Zainabu. But for so long, it was like Zain, like, before even the teacher had a chance to try to say it, it was like, you know, like trying to make it as American as possible and almost trying to shy away from my Africanness, you know, and it's something that I talk about a lot, especially now that I'm, you know, an educator. It's like that whole idea of assimilation, because you want to fit in, but then you don't want to just completely forget about your culture and make it too, making it too comfortable for other people isn't what you should do.
No. Make it comfortable for yourself.
So
but because Marie,
My birth name is actually Hassanatu, right? That's one of the names of the many names on my birth certificate, but it's Marionette Hassanatu. So my mom had the consciousness to say, if I'm going to enroll you in a school like this, let's have Marionette be the first name because they'll just torment and butcher Hassanatu.
Not me. She was sticking with Zainabu. She was like, they'll figure it out. By the time like I came along, I think Marie had already like softened everybody and they loved her. And so it was like, oh, she's Marie's little sister.
Yeah, the OG, the Goy was the first.
Yeah, there you go, Goy.
So,
was there anybody, Goy, was there anybody else?
No, it was, I don't recall at the time. I think I was the only one. And so at the time, I remember I hated going to class when they would take roll.
Yes.
Because when it was so painful. And when I remember, by the time I got everything straight, we moved up to senior division.
You got new people to explain it to.
And so I remember a particular teacher. Now these are educated people. I got 4 letters in my first name, AGOI, 4 letters. And this teacher said, and you know, a Milt is going to take things to the next level. So she says, Agrolio.
Just add it
up. So I immediately got offense. I took offense. And of course, everybody in the class is going crazy. Everybody's going crazy. So of course, now I gotta reply. So I said, did you even go to college? How are you a teacher and there's no R in there? Where are you getting that from? So I had to go see the principal because they got mad at me because she can't read. But it was very offensive. So my thing is, did you ever have an experience where somebody like said your name and it was just not your name? And you know, and the lap, like how many names did you get? I heard somebody say like booty scratcher, but I'm talking about how many names did they come up with? Because I remember this lady was like, oh, this is a Goy. He's from Africa. I'm from North Philly. What are you talking about? I mean, my dad is from Kenya. But I didn't have an accent. I didn't talk with an accent. I didn't come wearing African garments. I wasn't Prince Hakeem from Zamunda. So I'm trying to figure out where in the world are you getting these things from? Oh, this is a Goy. He's from Africa. I was like, damn. Like, and I'm not ashamed of being.
I didn't know.
Yeah, I'm not ashamed of it, but it's just one of those things. Like, did you guys have any experiences like that? Awkward?
To be honest, no.
Yeah,
I mean, what happened was, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think, you know, there was a point in 5th grade where I had to leave to go and settle my citizenship stuff, right? Being that I am a foreign national, I'm a naturalized citizen now, but I was born in Australia.
You show.
So I came when I was 3. And I'm a straight up immigrant. Yep, I am. But, you know, to hear me speak, you would not guess that, right? And people from my community are like, you're so American, you're so American. So that's okay, that's fine. I do know that Mrs. Webster put me on the spot and she wanted me to take that opportunity to present to the whole class of 5th graders what my experience was. And I wish she hadn't, and I wish she had, because in the moment, they wouldn't stop. It was Grace Jones, had it there. Did you ride a zebra? Back zebra rider, Grace Jones. After the presentation, here I think I'm doing what's right. I'm doing what I'm asked to do. My trip, and I'm giving my report on Africa. And unfortunately, my mom didn't really know what to do with my hair. And we didn't really know what to do with my hair. So she gave me one of the low Caesar fades. Oh. And here I am, this brown skin girl, looking straight up like a poster child from, you know, Ethiopia or something. And it's kind of like, you fit the name now. Like, so I don't think in that moment it helped me. But as intermediate division ended and I got to high school, I think as I developed, as I grew, as my body changed, as my features changed, you know how kids have a weird way, they get selective amnesia. They forgot that they thought you were whatever you were. And then all of a sudden it's like, hi again. So
you're fine. She's fine now.
But I mean, it
was right.
You're not looking so bad. You're not looking so refugee, you know? So that I didn't know. I didn't know how to process that. I didn't know what to do.
So refugee.
But I just want to interject, you know, two quick stories. One, I don't know if y'all know this about me, but my mom is Japanese from Japan.
Okay.
So even though I didn't have the name situation, I always remember my mom married my dad, who's from South Philadelphia. And, you know, he's from the hood. And so all my cousins, instead, her name is Nobuko. And none of them could say that. So back in the 70s, Yoko Ono was popular. So she became Aunt Yoko. And that's the most American thing. You know, they dumb it down to what.
Yes, it is. Very.
But you can recognize.
You know, so that's the first thing I wanted to tell you. The second thing is, do y'all remember Zaire? It was
yes.
Zaire. So I remember the day Zaire, I got to tell you this quick story. Zaire came to Milton Hershey School, and it was when the pro-black and everybody had the medallions.
Zaire Hines, right?
My roommate at the time was Sean Rector from Harlem, you know, and he was on it heavy. Like, so Zaire comes to school, and Rector's running down the hallway, and he comes into my class. He's like, yo, there's a new brother here. He's from Africa. We need to go greet him. Come on, you go. Forget this class. So I break out the class. We go down. Zaire's just chilling. I don't know if you used to have the sunglasses. He's just chilling in the hallway. And we come up and we did the same. Hey, brother, what's going on? Welcome to Milton Hershey. We go on for about 10 minutes. And Zaire goes, I'm from Brooklyn. Like,
Brooklyn.
Yes.
Oh, that is great. Oh my gosh.
If you need anything, just let us know. We're real sorry.
But y'all was ready. Y'all was ready to get a real one.
Right.
I'm just gonna get back.
I tell you,
I thought
Jackie, Zaire's sister, Rakaya Hines, God bless the dead, was a dear friend of mine. Yeah, she passed and she was so young. I think it was about 3 years ago. She had a stroke at age like 42, 43.
Damn.
I mean, I don't know. She and we lost touch after some years. But yeah, I thought his name Zaire. I thought I found a kindred. And then Rakaya was like, my dad's from Brooklyn. We got a brownstone in Brooklyn. I was like, oh, okay.
With the accent too. He was from Brooklyn. Like,
right.
That is great. I love
it. Zaina, tell me more about where you're at now and what you're doing with the kids and all that stuff and where you're trying to go. Okay.
All good questions. So I've been currently teaching 6th grade math and social studies for now year 18.
Wow.
And the beauty of that is we study ancient civilizations. So I get to spend 8 months out of the 10 on the continent.
Okay.
And you know, because I don't ever remember Milton Hershey having like an African studies class. I know that, you know, history we know is from a European view, and we learned about medieval times and American history. But the beauty of, you know, the grade level I teach is I'm able to really drum down to them, like, you know, human beings' existence began on the continent. We went different places. This is what it is. You were kings and queens long before any ship came in, you know. So that is a beautiful, beautiful thing that I've been able to do for myself, because the community I serve, they look like us, right? And I coached for a long time basketball. And so I kind of thought I was going to retire my whistle for a while. I coached at the high school. I also coached soccer. But then last year I started coaching middle school sports now, which is a lot different because it's like the first time they're ever playing. Girls are doing cartwheels, picking up, you know, weeds in the grass as opposed to taking it seriously. So got to like scale back a little bit. But I also went and got my real estate license. So I'm doing a little dibbling dabbling in that. I was fortunate enough to also go back and get a second master's. So I have a master's in educational leadership. I do not want to be a principal or anything like that, but it's just something to have in case the right opportunity presents itself. But I'll be very honest with you. I see myself in the classroom. I also happen to teach a class 2 teachers about technology. So that I'm going to start consulting and doing aside. So that's my little entrepreneurial kind of hustle that virtual learning has become a big thing, but I was doing it well before it was a thing. So really, that's it mostly. I see myself in North Jersey in the future, probably going to retire here. And yeah.
Fine, let me interject here. Zine's being a little modest. I know recently she was awarded with the National Geographic Educator Award.
Oh,
it was
about that.
I forgot about
that they held in New Jersey.
Oh yeah, so I'm affiliated with them. So one year they chose 2 teachers from all of the states to get together to do these workshops and training. And so I'm on their teacher advisory council. And that stemmed from, I can't remember which connection that came from. And then I was teacher of the year in my school and a lot of different things education wise. So it's a good fit for me. It works for me. I love the work, and I've been rewarded not just by accolades and things by it, but obviously the feeling of gratification when you're doing something for kids that need it.
That's what's up. So let me ask you this question. Would you ever go back to Milton Hershey School and teach?
Oh, no, I can't.
No?
Okay. So I talk to Pete Gert all the time because he actually was the JV coach when I played basketball. Not that I ever played JV. I always joke about that, but yeah, no.
This one.
I didn't. I was a freshman as a varsity. I'm sorry. Not sorry. I told you I was great, didn't I? Anyway. So.
She'll tell everybody.
Yo.
Okay. So, and it's not false modesty. It's really real. Okay. So, he always says this to me. He's like, come back. Then I'm like, if Hershey wasn't in Hershey, I need to be around my people. I had enough of that. So I love you, Milton Hershey School. Central Pennsylvania.
Not so much.
I'm all set.
Not a lot to do.
Mr. Smell of the cow shit and the chocolate.
Yeah. They didn't have to deal with Barn. What are you talking about?
You know what?
I didn't.
She didn't have to milk.
I didn't. That was like my 8th grade. It stopped. I think you said Marie your junior year.
Yeah,
right?
We had the summer barn.
Okay.
Yeah, you was right there at the cutoff somewhere around.
Yes, at the cutoff. But they made the freshmen. They made sure the freshmen felt the experience.
No, I'm sure
They were not going to let us get away with not having barn duty. I remember Lauren falling in the pile of manure. It was hilarious.
I bet she remembers you too.
Hilarious.
She's like, thanks for
quick note. Let me guess over there. Go. Who's that over there with you?
Over there.
Hey,
that's Munch.
Hey, look, listen. Somebody got a knock at the door, and this was at the door. Gordon Jesse Reed, legendary. You know what it is.
Class of.
It's the legendary Roots Crew, gang.
Munch, what year you graduate from the Milt? Tell the people.
86.
That's when I came. Oh,
that's my OG, triple OG right there.
Nice.
Legendary.
What's up, dog?
You old head.
Slow motion, champ. That's it.
Man, it's good to see you. We're gonna have to get you on too. We got
good
these
to be seen, man. Yeah.
Man.
For a young minute.
It's good to put eyes on you, man.
Hey, good to be seen, champ. Yo. What's up with you, Warner?
Ain't nothing, man. I was just talking to them. I didn't know if Marionette, I don't know if you ran track with Zine, I'm sorry, I'm messing it up. I didn't mean to. Ran track and she was a star, but I was trying to let her know that y'all was the old heads on the track team.
Okay.
We was trying to do when we was young.
Different era. Yeah, we put some work in though. We put some work in on that track though. I'll let you know that.
Okay.
Different situation. We ran on cylinders.
Yeah, we did run on that dirt track.
You know what I mean? Cinder track. Cinder, yeah.
They didn't pave the track for a while with the orange bits. That was gravel before. That was like
I don't know what it was before.
It was gravel.
Yeah.
It was gravel.
Yes.
It was like gray asphalt gravel.
Hey.
Like
so we had sawdust.
You went to go.
Sawdust. He said it was sawdust.
Still, Mr. Galloway still telling her, hey, Jackie Stroman, you need to go ahead and pick that rake up.
Why you sound
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. You know, Munch still put in work every Friday and Saturday. Put in like 9-10 miles like it ain't nothing. Put in a little bit. Put in some work. We'll hit like 8 tomorrow. Morning.
Got me, OG.
Yeah, got me.
You like that?
No thanks.
Old dark 30. Old dark. But you in the sheets, I'm on the streets. You dig? You understand?
Man, I hear you.
Believe that. Believe that.
All right.
I hear you.
Yeah. So that was a little cameo from Munch. We gonna maybe get it
Beautiful.
going one time.
I
So
love it.
Be safe, y'all.
Absolutely.
Be safe,
Love you,
y'all.
boy.
Bye, Mike.
Man, real good to see you.
Man, you know what? Like going back to your brother, the way Munch just popped in, we are everywhere.
I know, but I feel a little jealous. I feel like the Philly gang is just so much closer, like easier. I don't know. I know, like.
Well, you part of it. You close
like
enough.
3 of us. Huh?
You're close enough. You part of us.
I know. What is she talking about? All the way down here in Florida. What is she talking about?
It's a phone call, though. It's a phone call.
That's true. That's
It's a
true.
phone call. Meet me here. We there.
That's true.
Come by the crib. That's how we do it.
Yeah,
Love
And you know, I made that one statement, like people knock on your door and they be like, yeah, I need to stay here for a couple of days. Like, don't even call you in advance or nothing. So that's the Milt. You know, that's what we do.
Significant other looking at you like, yo, what's going on?
And so meanwhile, after they stay for a couple of days, you know what I mean? So wifey be like, yo, is he leaving? I'm not sure.
At some point.
Yeah,
So
right. But for now, you're here.
What other Milts do y'all keep in contact with?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you go ahead, Marie.
Oh, I speak to not that many, but I do talk to Rochelle Espinal all the time.
That's my buddy, bro.
That's my boo. That's my ace. I mean, I'm glad that we went to Westchester together because when I got to grow more, I found like the other side of my coin with her. I can't lie. I mean, that's like my heart. And the things that we've endured post-Milt life together, I got my sister, but I got my sister, and Rochelle, I gotta tell you, that's a remarkable spirit. And she may be a little apprehensive about the platform. She has probably her own perspective about the school. And I think that might speak to why she's not as active or as involved. But I do know that it still rings home in her heart. And there is that camaraderie and that connection she still holds on to. So in fact, when I told her that I was going to be doing this, and I said, she was like, who are the people that are and we were trying to think of who hung out with Jackie and Warner, because we knew there were the 3 Musketeers, and we were killing our brains. We were like, who was it? Was it Paul Pitts? No. And she was like, Sean Rector. And I was like, Sean Rector. And we always last name, just
that's
like
right.
that.
That's so funny.
So we started reminiscing about the Parent Weekend show, of course, cracking up.
She told me about that.
Of course.
Can we get a reenactment?
This is about all you get right here.
Marie was hyped when she was telling me. Do you remember? I was like, I was in 2nd grade. No. Like, no.
That was a different era.
Right there.
Did you get their autograph when they were
In my eyes. This is the coolest thing ever.
No,
See them right there?
That was something we love her and we miss her.
Yeah, for sure.
That's dope.
I'll pass the word along. I will.
My blood.
I know you said
Jackie Mahan. I mean, a ton of people. To be honest, I'm very connected. So like, there's a trio or quad of us. I don't know if you guys know Rick Abroka, his sister Ajoa, who's in Philly.
Love Rick.
That is my other boo thing.
We said what up too.
Yeah, Kendra, who she didn't have any siblings, so like the 4 of us, we get together at least once a year. Whether it's like at my house, we'll do a girls' weekend. We go down to Maryland where Kendra's at during homecoming. We always will stay together. Who else? A lot of people just from my year that I talk to really on the regular, like Willington Rivera. A lot of both the guys and the girls. Like I'm still connected to a lot of Milts, mostly from like the 96, 97, 99 era.
The differences between you two experiences, though, between you two sisters is fascinating. Where Marionette said that she was called this and that. And then Zion's like, nah, I was cool. Like,
Right. Yeah, I remember about that.
You know what I mean? Like, that's a different dynamic. Like, I wouldn't even think that. I would think it would be one way or the other.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing too is like Marie was a cheerleader. She was like, everybody loved her. She Miss Congenial, so nice to everybody. And like, I was more quiet when I was at school. Like, I really was. Although I was an athlete and people knew me, they knew me as like, oh, that's Marie's little sister. Like, that's Marie's little sister. That's Marie's little sister. So I was really like a little more shy, believe it or not, back then. Mm-hmm. And then, I don't know, something happened.
Hello, world.
That's good. That's good.
When you,
I know myself.
When you guys were going there, since your sister was older, did you follow in her student home steps? Like, did you go to the same student home she did?
Wait. So what was your elementary student home? Were you in Perry?
I was in Perry, but Zine,
So let me tell it. So yes, okay. I was in Perry.
Go ahead.
But then when I went to intermediate division, I had a short stint a few places.
Sure.
I didn't have extended stays.
Troublemaker.
My mouth had me kind of transferred a few times.
So which student homes were you in?
So I was in Madison, I was in Dickinson, Franklin, I think a few. And then senior division, also I went to Bromore. They kicked me out after a year. They were like, you are not Marie. And then I think I ended up in where did I graduate from? I can't, the last student home.
Was it
Green Acres? Green Acres. I was like, right as soon as you come off of 322 or whatever that highway is.
And who was the house parents at that time?
Oh.
That tells me everything.
The Taylors. No, because here's what happened. They were there only for a short time. Like, most of my other house parents were there for a long time. Like, Mr. Malderick, I think, still works at the school. His wife passed, but he was one of my house parents. The Van Scoyks, the Bees, they were there for like 40 years. They were house parents for a long time. So, like, some of those mainstays, but I think when I went to Green Acres, it was like they had just come or something like that. They were fairly new.
Okay. Interesting.
First of all, I just want to say, why did they put girls in a student home named Gromore?
And that was not the name, the common known name on campus.
Oh, I wasn't there.
Not initially. When I went up there, the way that I was told that Mrs. Stewart wanted to overhaul the student home. She felt like it was getting a bad rep. And that's where that rep was coming from. And then but for some reason, the thing about Gromore, the Stewarts always took us on great trips. We'd go to Canada, Niagara Falls. She had the endless house parties.
What?
She would go.
How did you?
Yeah, she had
Canada.
Like Mrs. Stewart, she was the drama coach. So she would go all out with decorations and snacks and stuff. And then she had us working like the LPGA.
Canada.
Extra money.
I'm stuck on Canada.
Yeah. We
couldn't go to the Penn Relays. They went to Canada.
You couldn't go to Penn Relays.
Yeah. We weren't allowed to go to Penn Relays. They would.
You went to the Poconos.
Yo, they went to Canada, dog. Like, what is that about?
So we had to wake up at 4:00 and go out and collect Gatorade water things at the LGBA, whatever that is, that golf tournament that they host. They always signed us up for that so we could earn money to pay for those trips. So
money? They have no damn money.
We only got that 25-cent allowance a week.
I'm telling you.
I could get a milkshake I could get a milkshake at Rack. That was it.
I think it was up to $5 by the time I left.
$5?
Like $5 a week or something crazy.
Can I ask the other alumni? Let me ask you that question. How did you feel about learning that the older classes, they were getting more money towards college, more money at graduation, just in general, like the incremental increase of everything? Did you chalk that up to the price of inflation, or did you find like, my cost of...
No, initially, jealousy. From the door.
Saltiness.
What's going on?
Saltiness.
Why he enunciate like that though?
One of those 5 steps. What is it? 5 steps is anger.
Yeah. We still didn't even get to acceptance yet.
I was in all of that, but at the end of the day, I feel like very necessary. And some of that is in some of the questions that I normally ask. And because I know when I left the Milt, I had somewhere to go. I know when I left the Milt, I had a family, and they were okay. But I know a lot of people that didn't have anywhere to go.
This is true.
And I know when it was time to leave the Milt, when they said, oh, yeah, we graduated, it was like, peace out. And I just always felt like there wasn't a lot going on there. So how did you guys feel when it was all over? You guys had family members that were leaving every couple of years, so I think you had some things in place. But how did you feel when it was all over said and done and it was time to go and they were like, bye?
I'm not gonna lie, it was hard because I was there since the 2nd grade. And it was so programmed as a routine of my life. You know, those tears that you have in the rotunda at graduation and you're all sweating and tears. So that was legitimate. It was like, now what? Now who? Now where do I go? And what's going to happen, you know?
Right.
And I tell you, you know, I was teasing earlier about saying she got kicked out of Growmore and she was a troublemaker. She probably followed a natural course of testing the boundaries. Whereas when I got to college, I lost my mind because I had all that freedom. You know, she was saying, you know, kind of saying, you're not Marie. That's because I was trying to please everybody in Hershey. I wanted to do the right thing. I did not want to get in trouble. I was trying to earn all my vacation. I wanted to get effort and conduct. I did not want my mom to kick my butt. So when I finally got my freedom in college, I almost pissed it all away. You know, I mean, I didn't go to class. I stayed out all the time. Like I would arrange my classes around soap operas. It was ridiculous.
What you talking about?
You would think I had no structure, no guidance. I lost my damn mind.
Yeah.
So, you know, I was spiraling in that moment. And it was like, that's when it dawned on me, I'm not in this protected bubble anymore. No one is going to come and tell me, get up and go to class, study, you got a test. No one's going to check my homework. No one's going to make me accountable. I've got to do it myself. And even though I was accountable all those years to some degree independently, we had house parents, we had teachers, we had systems in place to keep us on our toes. In college, you don't have that, right? So I was wilding, you know.
I wilded out too in college, honestly. Like I did exactly like you said. I majored in tech mobile. For real, I'm not lying. Like for the first 2 years, and Jack will attest to this because he came up and partied with us. Like I almost flunked. I just left school after 2 years because I was that bad off. And it took me like 15 years later to actually get my degree. But like you said, I finally woke up and said, hey, this is on me. Like it's not anybody else. Like there's no Milts or you know, house parents or anybody that's saying you need to do this. And so I rebelled. I was like, if I don't have to do it, I'm not going to. I didn't realize that I should have, but I completely get what you're saying.
You get that? You got that? Okay. I thought I lost my mind by myself out there.
Yeah.
All that freedom, all that freedom, man. Please.
And a lot of Milts experience that.
My mom was a pastor, so I had that at home. So as soon as I got to college, there was no pastor, no house parents, no administration. What?
Exactly.
That's the Mad Dog.
Oh. Okay, speaking of Pastor Mad Dog, what did you guys do in Hershey that you feel like normal teens wouldn't have got in trouble for, but either you would have got on like 30, 50 and 50? Like, what was your, you know you shouldn't have done that.
That one thing, man, I got to think about that. I don't know if I can tell that one right away.
What was the question? I know, I was about to say, who hooked out?
I definitely hooked out. I didn't.
I'm raising my hand for no reason. I did.
I'm not raising
my hand though, because
did you say
who hooked in? Who had people hook in, Marie?
I remain silent.
Froze up like. Act like
I remain silent. I choose to remain silent.
Okay, all right, fine.
Fair enough. I respect your gangster.
Yeah, I think I still get some people in trouble. This is not enough years went by yet.
Yeah.
Not enough years went by. Is that what you said?
No, it's not enough.
Statute of limitations is still going on that one.
I do not. I can neither confirm or deny.
You know, he might not let me back on campus. Like I watched that episode. You can't come back.
Jess, you got the
y'all were determined. People were determined. Those student homes were not close.
No.
People are bike riding. In my era, like people had bikes and stuff, and they had security.
No, Shoe Leather Express.
Oh, they don't.
They took bikes. We tried to make it back to Philly.
You know it. On a bike.
Did any of you guys run away ever, or like go out in town and try to like be out further than you were supposed to?
That, yes. Run away, no. But getting out, going to town, and like we get in people's cars and go to other towns. We be drinking wine coolers.
Mm-hmm.
Coolers, baby.
You know what I'm saying?
But for those that hooked out, I think there's a level of courageousness because we were in the middle of the wilderness, you know? All kinds of
Like the bears.
I mean, there were no random bear attacks or mountain lion attacks.
What was the female cow called?
Can you imagine?
Heifer.
I mean, there's wild.
Heifers.
The heifer.
Heifers used to chase us through the pasture because we had to go through the pasture to get to where the girls' food homes was.
Is that how you had to do it?
Pitch black, tripping through doo-doo.
And the heifer just chased through the
Real.
Yo, I remember with the guy in the Jeep. Remember the guy in the Jeep? He was a big guy. Was tiny or something?
Tiny.
He could drive around in the Jeep. I mean, if he ever takes me, I wouldn't.
Or insecurity.
Mm-hmm. We were talking about how we used to walk to Hershey Park and all that. So depending on where your student home was, like we was way out. Warner was in Vian. We was further than him out in Southfield, Glendale. You know, and if you missed that van or the bus or whatever, walking back in the pitch black out there in the middle of mid-pen, and there'd definitely be some country boys that ride by. You know what I mean, hit you with the N-word, you jumping in the bush, like, let me not get shot out here. Yeah. I think we were so young, we didn't realize it back then. It was just a normal thing. But looking back on it,
how did they manage to insulate us from a lot of that? Because I feel like we were safeguarded. I mean, granted, Hershey High with their go home orphans and sometimes in town, the townies, but I don't feel like there was ever a moment where we felt the community was pushing back against the diversity within our campus. You know, you could see that now in what's happening in our world around us. You could
Go back to homecoming, you'll see it.
Go back where?
Yeah.
Oh, they don't give us love up there, man. It's hard to find places that'll because me and Jess are on the committee to, you know, we throw our thing for our 5-year increments for homecoming.
Right.
And it's hard to find any establishments that'll rent out to us.
Yeah.
Like they shun us big time.
Yeah. They don't
now, how long have you been having that problem? Because do you remember the 100-year celebration that was at that year?
I remember that.
Yes.
Maybe that messed it up because that was.
No, it's been like that.
It's always been that way. It's always.
They don't like us, and we go hard. You know, we party. When
we go hard. We go in.
Tell us nothing neither. There'd be a bunch of attorneys in there. Like I remember one year, Eugene Washington was in the pool. He was doing something, and somebody called the cops on him. Man, he laid the cops out. He was like, I know the law. Blah 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 blah.
Oh.
Like no kid to get young man. I was like, out here fucking with these milks. We don't play no games. Like, you know, we got teachers. We got.
You better know your
I always found that interesting.
Yeah, I don't know why they don't like milks. And
it's not like it's not like we're damaging property. Like I don't understand what it is that they really don't like. Like we're here to give you money, like business, and you don't want to take it. Like what the hell?
Thing. And we got a lot. Like we save all year for homecoming.
Yeah, you know? I'm saying that's true.
No.
Fuck them. I'm sorry. I know personal on there, but
there's nothing else.
That's where I'm at with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we gonna party.
We'll still have fun with that. We still make our own fun.
Yeah, we make it work.
Yep. You know, as long as I'm with my milk brothers and sisters, I'm good.
Yeah.
That's right.
Do you find that like as you get older, you have more of appreciation, or like even when you first graduated, was it like I'm not gonna go back? So who said yes?
I did.
Yeah,
I did.
I mean, I would go back, like when we first graduated, you'd go back a lot, but I feel like in between, probably like 5, 10, 15, I didn't go back that much, but I feel like the older I get, the more appreciation you see for it. Yeah.
I agree with that. For me, it's been the same thing. I'm kind of like Rochelle, you know, in the sense that it's like you look back on it, you remember the bad stuff, you remember the good stuff. I find that most milks, especially since we've been doing this project, romanticize the stories and looking back on stuff and choose to only remember the good stuff for the most part. Not everybody's like that. There's a lot of people who don't want nothing to do with the milk. They don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
It's the thing, you know what I'm saying? So for me, is like Jess said, as I get older, I have more appreciation And I also feel like I give myself a lot of credit. That was not easy. You know, home, your comfort, wherever your little comfort zone is, and you go to the middle of, you know, you're from New York at the time. I was living in Jersey. I'm like, I'm going to Pennsylvania. I'm 10 years old. You know, I got to fight the first night I was there, but I look back on it and I survived it. And not only did I survive it, I rocked it. And here I am, I'm a grown man, you know, and I'm better for it. So I choose to look back on it in a better light. And
I mean,
that's powerful.
JB, you ain't just survived it though. There's a difference when you survive something or when you rock something. So when you got a name named Boogie, I feel like if you leave the Milt with a nickname, people call you something, you're known for something, you were able to
left a mark.
Accomplish certain things like on the track and field, in scholastic work, even musically, whatever the case may be. And I feel like if you can do that and still go to the other side and graduate, and then people still walk up to you years and years later and say, man, I remember you ran track. I remember you sang. I remember you used to dance.
I remember you used to be a bitch.
So for me, but I'm saying is that, like, when young people come up to me and they say remember me being nice to them, like I was always taught to give back. You know what I mean? In whichever way that is. And a lot of times that's just kindness. Because I remember being that kid in 5th, 6th grade looking up to the OGs like, damn, I want to be like this when I grow up. Just them saying hi to you or coming over and meet your friends or whatever. Like, that's the thing I'm probably the most proud of, that, you know, people were 5 years behind me like, yo, I remember this, and this. And I'm like, that's what's up. You know what I'm saying? I don't remember.
I'm proud of the 2 young ladies on the call, though, because it's so good to see, number one, not just the love that they have for each other, but you can really see, and you can just see how they interact with one another. Like that. I'm saying, so when you can say, like, yo, when people write in and say, yo, not I was dope, but my sister was dope. I think that I really think that's a major thing. So, you know, shout outs to the both of you. I want to thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I really thank you for being on the call. I really thank you for sharing. We got a lot of information, and I think we might have to do another call because I just feel like you guys got way more to say.
Yeah.
Just don't have that kind of time to do it in one shot.
Got
What do you think?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you for being honest.
Yes. Thank you for following directions. We was talking about, you know, when we started doing this, we was like, all these people going to be reaching out, and y'all did it the right, you know, road and everything. We all looked at it. We were all collectively like, yes, absolutely.
Well, I graduated with no detention, so I followed directions. That's the comment.
I cannot say
I don't know if that's something to boast about, but
I can't say that.
No. Sorry, no, can't say either.
That's why Mr. Weller and all those people know my name.
Many of you out there can say you were never on detention.
Yeah, that's deep. Never even restrictions. Like, what were you doing?
Listen, I'm listening to our respect.
I'm trying to tell you, I was listening. But you see, that's why I got into trouble in college. I almost lost my mind.
I see. So good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for having this platform, because I think it's so important that, you know, we always talk about the unique special experience. Some people who don't understand it. I remember even one of my friends was like, it's like a cult. I was like, yeah, that's fine. It's not good. People say that for each other. But the connection is very unique and special. Yeah, you don't get it if you don't have it.
No, and that's why
it's a lifetime.
That's what this is about. You know, people hearing these different stories, and you know that school was what it was, but everybody's experience was different.
Mm-hmm.
Looking back on it is one thing, but being there and how you decided to navigate, it's everybody's unique experiences. It's nice to hear yours, and thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, you guys.